Welcome to Grief and Gratitude Podcast. We're your hosts, Mandy and Crystal.
This is a space for honest conversations about loss, healing, and everything in between. Each week, we share stories, perspectives, and moments that remind us that even in the hardest seasons, gratitude can still exist. Thank you for sharing space with us. We're really glad you're here.
Hi, everyone. This is Crystal with Grief and Gratitude Podcast. I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Mandy. We are back after taking a week off to just check back in with our viewers and to touch a bit on who we are and also the holiday that just passed. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I know from some of our guests and from Mandy's experience of losing her son and why we have this podcast, it can be a very challenging day to navigate. I wanted to create a space here to allow Mandy and also listeners to identify those feelings and also the fact it's okay, right, to just not even want that day. Mandy, could you share with us what that experience was like for you yesterday and knowing that you also have two children here?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Mother's Day. This was my second Mother's Day without Declan here. And I will say, much like grief, it kind of ebb and flows. Some holidays, some birthdays, some anniversaries are, I want to celebrate. I want to get a cake. I want to do all the things. And then other days, I just don't want to do anything. I want to sit on the couch and watch TV and just not think about things. And I don't remember, I think last year we actually went out to eat and tried to make it normal because it was the first time. But this year, I just wasn't feeling it. So, and it's hard to, like you said, because there are other children. So, I obviously try to stay positive and not get too down for them to see. They also aren't dumb and know the situation and how I feel. And, Finn is 4, and anytime I cry, he will always say, "Oh, do you miss Declan?" And I'll say, "Yeah, I miss Declan." And he'll be like, "I miss him too, but he's with us. He's still with us." And he always says he's still with us. So, and then he says, "And Hank's with us too." Hank was our dog.
Oh.
And Ben didn't even know Hank, but he's heard stories. So he says Hank is with us too. So I'll believe that too. But yeah, no, I think it is okay to just do what you feel. Don't feel pressured to do anything. Michael was really good about not pushing anything on me, asking me what I wanted to do, giving me my space. And so it was kind of just another day.
Would you agree, Mandy, so Michael being Mandy's partner, that how he kind of engaged you felt appropriate, right? He didn't go into the day with like, well, you said you would do this or that, or trying to create an expectation, but he's like understanding of the highs and lows, right? And that your mind may change and not even, you might have a plan the night before and wake up and it's completely changed. And that feels really valuable in a partner.
Yeah, and he really is. And I will say that it hasn't always been that way, but it's a learning process. It's still very early. Like I said, it's the second year. Declan's birthday. Michael's birthday just happens to be the day after Declan's birthday. So it's kind of hard to celebrate and then, to be all sad and then be happy the next day. And so we kind of experienced that this year, um, and discussed that going forward, he would really just let me do what I need to do. And if we made plans, it's okay to not do them. And if I want to be alone, it's okay. And so I think that was really helpful. Um, and that's what he did. So it was perfect.
Yeah, and in some instances, we don't have someone who is understanding. So what I would suggest is you know what you need, right? And you, as best you can, create that space to get what you need. I would encourage people who feel bad or guilty or people pleasers, are worried about the other, right, living individuals in their lives, that they find a way to provide themselves grace and carve out the time they need. Because if you don't do it, you're going to continue each year, each anniversary, each challenging time, not allowing yourself to feel your pain or your grief, right? And it's actually much harder to access gratitude, right? If we ignore or push or put aside our grief to please other people.
Well, and then the whole time you're doing whatever you're not wanting to do and thinking like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. And it puts you in a bad mood and you're not fun to be around. You might as well not have gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, I think that is, pretty important.
Absolutely. So I think next we wanted to talk just a little bit about who we are, so you know a little bit more about your hosts, and also really about the purpose of the podcast for us.
So we're
And
getting down to the nitty gritty.
we're getting right down to the nitty gritty, to the good time. We're not going to tell too many stories because about Mandy and I back in the day, because, gosh,
We don't need to bring up old police records.
yeah, we don't need to bring up some things we did, right, with our 16, 17, 18-year-old brains navigating the world. Mandy and I definitely um, really experienced life together. And I think why our bond is so strong and we're still here, right, 25-ish years later doing this, is because we created such a foundation seeing each other through, right? Um,
Mhm.
Graduating high school, for example, not easy for either of us, but we made it.
We
Here we
did.
stand. Um, but I would say when I think
And we had fun while doing.
we had a lot of fun. Absolutely. We living downtown in Burlington, Vermont, right? Running the streets, just finding trouble every which way. Music,
Our
the
rent
street,
was like $600 a month.
crazy.
Oh
Total.
gosh.
Total was
Yeah,
600. We split,
yeah.
right? With my twin sister who's passed now. And I think I spoke of it before, like Jen, bless her heart, like such a goody two shoe, like first year of college. I always remember her in her bed with all of her notebooks and books out. And
Mhm.
she was a people pleaser. Like, can you all just keep it down while we were
And we were
trying
having fun
on a Monday?
at 4 AM.
Yes. I mean, we really did have a good time. And we've seen each other through ups and downs. We've seen each other through relationships and hardships. And yeah, here
And
we are.
all the times I drove to New York to visit you. Oh my goodness.
Many, many times. Yeah, we lived
Yeah.
together. And then when I was in New York for college, Mandy would come down pregnant. I remember you coming down pregnant a few times. And then when
Mhm.
you first had Evan and his favorite movie was Finding Nemo, and we would set him up on the pillow and just like put on Finding Nemo. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good time. Now in my world, I'm the executive director and founder of an organization, mental health and work within the criminal legal system. I bridge the criminal legal system with the mental health field, do a lot of work with people who have very little, creating release plans and community plans. I have my two girls that are one just turned 11 and one will be 17 in August. And otherwise, yeah, it's just the day to day, right? Pretty
Who would
making
have
it work.
thought we would be here?
Yeah. Who would have thought? Mandy, you want to tell us a little bit? Mandy has told me what she does like a handful of times, and I still don't get it, but I feel like it has something to do with commercials. Is that accurate?
So, well, I'm from Vermont. I moved to North Carolina in 2018, and I've been here ever since. And when I was in Vermont, I did mostly like legal work. But when I got to North Carolina, I just kind of took the first job that I could find at Avid Exchange, and that's where I have been for almost 8 years, I want to say. But I can't really say exactly what I do because
You don't know either.
I do a bunch of different things and it changes all the time. So there's not like one thing that I do there. Um, but it's a great company, and Evan is 21 and he is going to be a senior. And he goes to UNCG, and he got to study abroad in Japan. Which was an amazing opportunity for him. And then Brielle is 12. My goodness. Going into the 8th grade. And Declan would be right below her. And he would be graduating 5th grade this year. But the school, his teachers and his school have really been wonderful. His teachers, he transferred to that school in 3rd grade. And so he had a 3rd grade teacher, and he was in school for maybe 2 weeks in 4th grade before he had his last cardiac arrest. But his 4th grade teacher also had him in 3rd grade. And so they are honoring him at their 5th grade graduation this year. They're going to have an empty chair for him and a certificate and a moment of silence. And so that will be hard and nice and all of the things. But I'm not going to really worry too much about it and just let whatever happens, happens. And then Finn is 4, and he is just full of energy. I don't know how older mothers do it because I am exhausted. Whenever he goes to bed, I usually fall asleep at the same time. And that's pretty much it.
And
Michael,
how old were you? Well, yeah, how old were you when you got pregnant with Finn?
39.
Yeah, 39. So it is, and your oldest being 21.
Yeah. So it's really funny when my hospital bracelet said 39 years old, and Finn's said 39, and Michael kept all of that stuff. I was like, ew, it says 39. I don't want it to say that. And Michael's mom put like white out over it so you couldn't see how old I was. She's like, look, I fixed it for you.
It is, for me at least, with my kids, right? One being 16, almost 17, the other 11. Like when I was just barely 28 compared to 34, it was a very real difference for me in terms of
Mhm.
like the bounce back of things, my energy level. Like I was just like, shit, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
you
a
don't
real.
really realize it until you go through it, but it's tough for sure.
And Finn, when you say like ball of energy, my gosh, like I adore him. But, like, I have a broken pinky forever because of him. It's forever freaking broken because he runs at you. We played this game, he'd run at me like he's a bullet. I mean, he's, like, just solid muscle, and I would have to bend down and catch him just right and swing him around just right, and I
Yeah,
wasn't quite prepared, and he was closer than he was supposed to start, and he just jammed, like, I felt the jam of my finger, but I had to complete the circle, right? Because he
right.
laughs, and the next day, it's like, "Yeah, he really got me." And it
Yeah,
doesn't end. I
no.
mean, if you spun him around 30, 40, 50, he would have let me.
But yeah, he doesn't stop. I don't remember. Well, obviously, because Declan and Brielle had their heart condition, they couldn't really do a lot of the same stuff. And Evan was so long ago, but I don't remember any of my children being as, I don't want to say crazy, but so full of energy as Finn.
And Evan definitely, because you and I lived together when Evan was it 4? When we then lived in that other apartment and he lived up the stairs.
Yeah.
Was he 4?
Yeah,
No,
he was in
we
preschool. He was in preschool.
preschool and on up because then I was pregnant with Casey, so she's gonna be 17. Yeah, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Why don't
had
you tell the
energy.
story about that apartment?
Oh my gosh. That was you want me to tell that story?
Sure.
So, well, which one? There's a few stories. Oh my god. Hold on. You keep talking for a second. I need my other charger.
Okay. Um, well, I was thinking the story about when the Winooski police came to our apartment, and I'll let you tell it. We'll wait a second till you come back.
Okay, I hope I stay on. Um, this one charger doesn't work. But was the story you're thinking of as the police?
Yeah.
Well, the time they came for someone broke in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But they wouldn't come inside.
Heck to the no, these Winooski police, I mean, sorry to put it out there.
They wanted us to go answer the door.
It's not on us, but it was like late enough because we lived with our good friend Brenna. So Mandy had a room, then Brenna, then me. So I'm in the back corner,
And
pregnant little
Evan's
me.
room was upstairs.
And Evan's room was upstairs. Was that right? I don't know. I mean, he was kind of in the center of the home upstairs, so it felt
Yeah.
safest
Right.
away from the front door. But so you walk in the front door, there's Mandy, there's Brenna, there's my room. And Mandy in the front of the house hears and sees someone go into your closet.
Yeah, I woke up to someone going into my closet, like looking through things. And I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
And
I
so what do you do when you think I'm going to die? Where did you go?
Well, I was waiting to see if he was going to try to kill me first.
Yeah.
And then I would have fought back, but he left. And I heard the front door open, but I don't remember if he went outside or not. But I ran to your room and locked the door.
Yeah. So
And you were
you're like,
pregnant.
who's going to protect me? That's going to be pregnant Crystal, and very pregnant. Mind you, this was definitely in July and
Yeah,
August 19th.
it was hot.
I had my baby. I was big. Yeah. Big belly. So it's late. It's definitely after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy runs in my room and she's like, oh my God, right. Someone's in the home. And I'm like trying to wake up, figure out what's going on. And I was like, all right, what are we going to do here? Brenda's next door. Evan's upstairs. What's the course of action here? Let's call the police. We call the police. What do the police do? Not much. They come. They can't get in the front because it was locked. They come around.
So they walk around the house.
And knock on my window and they're pointing. We're not even opening the window yet. They're pointing and lipping, go to the front of the house and unlock the door. Okay, asshole. Like, we have someone who broke into our home and you're telling me to go through my home where the person could be. But still, I was like, all right. And we opened the window.
I think I was still on the phone with the dispatcher or something like, my son is upstairs.
Yes. But yeah, what's going to happen to Evan here? Oh my gosh, what about Brenna? And then I forget if we let one through my window or we just opened the front door.
I
What
think
happened?
you opened the front door because
I
I was.
think at that time I was just like, I didn't have patience for it. It was like sometimes I just say that or think that, like, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. I just feel like I'm not even scared, I'm tired. It's almost like was better for me, and went and let him in, and come to find out, it was someone who was just hanging out with our roommate and was a bit intoxicated and was looking for the bathroom, so all we had to do with that was, maybe clean some piss out of the closet. But it was real. It's those
It
moments,
was
it's
so
like
scary,
freeze in time.
and those police
Then when you got Evan, it's like all of the thoughts of what could have happened. He's
my
fine.
gosh, he slept with me for, like, a week after that, and
Yes,
I locked my door
easily,
forever.
easily. Yeah, that was traumatizing. That happened.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that was a good time. So we lived together in two places, Burlington and Winooski. And then yes, you visited in New York, and I've now visited North Carolina.
Mhm.
So that was fun. So let's talk about podcast.
Yeah.
Grief and Gratitude podcast, why we created it, but also like we're so new in this. We're not, I think this will be the 16th episode. So we really want to know like how to create a space that is a space for people, a place where someone can come and not be stressed out, not be right, and nothing's expected of you. And also, if you want to create a space to share your story, you can do that. Mandy, when you before reaching out to me, like how this idea come to be, and what was kind of your reasoning or your purpose for it?
Yeah. So Declan had passed away, September 23rd, 2024, and I still had to get Brielle to school. So I obviously was not working at the time, not really sleeping, not really anything. So, I would listen to podcasts on the way there and on the way home, and sometimes just in my bed or in the living room or wherever. And I felt that they were just like really helpful, and I felt not alone. And I could relate to some of these stories. But I also wanted to tell my story too, to be like, I have a story too. And, I want to talk about my child and speak about how strong he was and how he had 5 cardiac arrests and he survived 5 cardiac arrests. And, he had his limitations, but he was still sweet. He didn't, let that bother him. He didn't say, why me? This is unfair. You know, um, he just tried to be a good friend and wanted people to like him and would give out compliments. And so I wanted to just share his story about him, and my experience of going through that, so other people who experience similar things could relate. And so I thought, well, these podcasts have been helping me. Maybe they can help someone else if I started one. And I was like, well, I don't really know where to begin. So then I contacted you and kind of told you a little bit of what I just said. And I said, I think that it would be great if we could do it together. And so I kind of,
So here we are.
yeah,
So here we are, and I think what's awesome about that is Mandy reached out to me, and to date, I've never completed a podcast. I don't know if I'd ever listened to one before, but right, I just get little snippets on social media. But since we started doing this, I've definitely listened to a few, but not in full. Right, so we also, I think we're just testing it out. What's beautiful about it is, man, it could literally be me and you that gain something from this experience
yeah,
of sharing our story with each other and have created this space with each other. And within that, I just know from the podcast we've already done and the relationships we've created with people we've done their
Yeah.
episode of, right? That it's already done its job to the extent that it has already provided a space for us to be safe.
And we've had so many people reach out wanting to share their story as well, which is exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, it doesn't end, right? I think with each person, there's then it branches out and then new people hear about it and reach out. So, for me, w- when we decided to do this, it was like, how cool that we can make a space where someone can decide, I want to share my story. I want to share my story. I want to share my story in my way. I want to be given a full, right, half hour where I can just go on and share what the experience was for me and what I've gotten from the experience and gratitude I've gotten. Because otherwise, we don't really have control, right? In life, in real life, you go around and someone knows of your loss and may or may not bring it up. Someone hears of your loss and you respond in a way we can't control
Or
how
they
they're
might
going to.
not even know the whole story.
Exactly.
Um,
And you may not be in a space to answer it or want to, right? Like
right.
here, you are given this space to just be safe and share your story. And all of the listeners are here because they chose to listen to your story. So
hmm
the discomfort element is taken out too, right? Like I'm choosing to listen to this story. Um, and I think that makes it much easier. At least for me when I shared, right? A lot of sadness, came up for me post sharing, but it was also a release of sadness
Yeah.
because I can't always 100% share. You're almost
Right.
like adapting your story to the situation.
Right.
So the podcast is really to allow anyone who wants to share their story and to create a space where others can listen. And even if they choose not to share a story, to feel understood.
Right. To be heard, to be seen,
Yes.
to be understood, um, which I think is really important. And that's all people really want. But it's definitely given me more gratitude because, well, it's brought us closer. It's made me feel like we're helping people. Um, it's making me feel like Declan would be so proud because I wanted to do this for him and he's there kind of leading me and helping me. And gratitude to everyone who shares their story because all these people have these amazing stories and I can't even pick one that is my favorite or least favorite because people are just amazing and um, it's just beautiful.
Vulnerable. Yeah, like so openly, consciously vulnerable.
Mhm.
Sharing the most pain they've experienced with sometimes two strangers, right? We have not known, I think, half of them at least. And
Right.
to openly tell the story, to choose to be vulnerable. Uh,
And I think almost every single person who has shared a story has said, I hope this helps at least one person.
there's that common, yeah, goal, and people, even in their suffering, wanting to help another person.
So when you think the world is going down the shitter, no, just kidding.
It's sort of sometimes kinda. Yeah, here we are wanting
Yeah.
to help
And
others.
there's people who still want to help just one person.
And we wouldn't pick one, but if we had to pick one, which we don't have to, if I could give one shout out, I do have to shout out Babetta, right? Because
Yes.
Babetta, your story, your vulnerability, and your continued reach out to us and just shout out, I just adore you, Babetta. So
Yeah, I don't even know if it's her story. I think it's just her.
Babetta, your energy, your light, your podcast, all the things. If anyone hasn't or is interested, please reach out. We will happily send you the link. But yeah, I
Because
think
yeah, there's so many like Betsy's
mm,
and Hopes
mm,
and I could go
Shayla's and
on, but
Dan's and
Babetta,
Matt
who's always promoting us too. Keep it up. We will promote you.
is
We
Babetta.
love you.
Yes, absolutely. So anyone who has a story, I would say please reach out to us in any way. We are scheduled out, I think, the next 3 or 4 weeks. But it's nice to kind of get a date because it also allows us time to just check in with you and see what your story is around. Maybe you're not quite sure. Maybe there's a few stories or areas of grief and gratitude you want to speak of, but you want to talk about it and kind of play out what your hour might look like. Reach out to us. Like let's talk through that together to also provide you an opportunity of preparation for
Hmm.
your moment to share your story. Um yeah, I think
And to talk about if there's parts that you don't want to talk about, because you know
absolutely.
how we ask questions and want to know more. That's always a good thing to
Yes,
talk about.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this was our a little bit of get to know us, and to share our goals. Please reach out to us. Any questions, or if you want to schedule a time to tell your story, reach out to us. I know either what there's Gmail, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's all the ways. Thank you for listening.
Well, hold
Um,
on.
mm,
Speaking of Bobetta,
yes,
I
go.
have to just say she has a podcast now. So go find her podcast. Her Instagram is Beside Death Life. And that should give you the link to all of her stuff. She is great. Um, so there you go. That's our little plug for her.
That is, and she didn't pay us $1.
Nope.
Um, not one. Thank you for listening. Again, I just say for everyone going through their grief journey to know that you deserve grace and you deserve kindness. And if there's times you can't show up in ways others want you to show up for, that is okay. We are rooting for you, praying for you, caring for you, all of the things. And we'll have this episode will be out tomorrow, Tuesday, the 12th, um, give or take, right in the morning. And then we'll have another episode following that. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much. And we will keep on going along.
Keep on keeping
Message
on.
us, message us with your stories because we want to share them.
Consider being a supporter of the show by downloading episodes, subscribing to the podcast, or clicking the support link in the show notes. You can also leave a 5-star review wherever you listen. If you would like to share your story, please message the Facebook or Instagram page. You can also email griefandgratitudepodcast@gmail.com. Tune in next Monday for an all-new episode. This podcast was created to honor the memory of Declan Shaw ONeil and Jennifer Lynn Berry.